Hello everyone, my name is Duoduo Chen. Today I'll be presenting a cross-cultural negotiation profile focused on Indian business negotiation approaches. This analysis examines how cultural views in India influence their discussive negotiation practice and provides strategies for effective engaging with Indian counterparts. India's emergence as a global economic power makes understanding these cultural nuances increasingly valuable for international business professionals. We can see next page. The first phase to look through is the different continuation phase of negotiation with India counterparts. Coastal 2023 note relationship served as foundation of business in India, with negotiators spending significant time classifying personal report before negotiation the substance of the deal. India negotiation perceive information sharing through two cultural constructs. And relationship and on communication is high context and indirect, focus on politeness and preservation of face, whereas Western negotiation usually compromise business from personal matters. Indians will relationship building into the whole process. Hierarchy shapes clearly interconnecting to a large instance, and the senior members attract extra politeness. When Indian negotiation appear recent, it is really due to lack of interest. More often than not, it is because they need to back and consult. We can see next page. During the explosion phases, India approach Southern developed through what Silveja it 2040 conjunct a creative, flexible problem solving approach will imposing and resourcefulness decision-making, typical follows hierarchical pattern, with important matters require approval from higher assets who may not be present at the negotiation table. Wilpin notes that will India business cultural group consists significant weight, so ultimate design rests with senior leaders. When disagreeing with personal, India often use indirect communication, avoiding outright rejection to mountain humility. This reflects the cultural preferences for relationship preservation over confrontation, even when suspending different issues. We can see next page. During the exchange phases, initial positions are usually fairly high on their end with an anticipation of some serious back and forth. As per Cohen, negotiation in India is viewed as a holistic process where making concessions is considered a sign of investment in the relationship rather than being a sign of weakness. There are times orientation is often polyconic, meaning that deadlines are less strict and more emphasis is placed on the quality of the relationship. Indians concrete on developing process that benefits both. So regarding deals, they may engage hard bargaining during negotiations. Contracts are seen as more of a set of fixable guidelines than strict rule books. Furthermore, the ideas of duty determines the know that one should not engage in a deal that does not serve the best interest of the both parties and its equity. However, the notion of equability could differ from the Western learning view. We can see next page. Here are strategies for the differentiation phase based on cultural tenets observed while dealing with Indians. Be friendly, even if the meeting does not ensure knowing the person. It's important to go starting for business with asking however they are doing. It's important to show respect to senior members of the organization. Present information constructively rather than through poor data. Concern about patients, important relationships that take time and rules by history trust being built. Practice indirect communication, ensure nobody face redundant or infinite. Since Indians are relationship operate, try getting older, try getting closer. Acquaintance outside the scope of meeting or negotiation with meal or cultural events. We can see next page. In the explosion and exchange phases, it is necessary to appeal to cooperation farming of the process that is based on mutual gains, offers a flexible and thematic approach that is not necessarily set in stone. Instead, necessarily design schedule of the need to consult with multiple levels of high C. When in conflict, avoid direct communication and conduct the conflict in front of others. It is common practice to write down deal, but it is important that contracts are viewed by Indians as basis for future relationships, show commitment to long-term partnership beyond the intimate transaction deals. Note that relationship building is long-term and often more viewed than bold profits, which in their negotiations will always pursue less than their sponsor. We can see next page, cross-cultural or comparison. Key differences exist between India and the typical Western negotiation approaches. While Western negotiations often emphasize efficiency and effectiveness, India's polarized relationship develop and extra communication. Western approaches may spare personal and business matter, while Indians integrate them. Decision making in Western context may be more decentralized, while Indians follow hierarchical patterns. Understanding this difference helps prevent misinterpretations. What might seem like events to Westerns often reflect the Indian emphasis on relationship foundation before translations. We can see next page. For instance, a European-based technology organization contrast a manufacturing company in India and realized that the response for the India organization were slow and ambiguous regarding what they perceived as pensions issues. This is why the shift to relationship building activities as well as accounting for the hierarchical period after artificial cultural views. This ensured cultural sensitivity, enabling the partnership to last for a period of more than 5 years through understanding of Indian negotiation behavior. We can see next page. The negotiation culture in India involves establish good relationships, respect for hierarchies, and negotiation context. Building relationship takes time. These people respect hierarchies, use an indirect approach to communication, and are willing to work for mutual partnerships. Remember that it is not always a lack of interest when the program seems to be stagnant for a while, as it may be internal constitution establishment of confidence that is developed through acknowledging and appearing the cultural difference is the fundamental way of the enduring sustainable and good business relations. We can see the last page. In conclusion, negotiation effectively with Indian counterparts require adapting to their relationship first, hierarchical and contextually nuanced approach. By applying the strengths outside today, you can build more productive cross-cultural business relationships that create sustainable value for all parties. My analysis has been informed by research from Costa 2023 on cross-cultural negotiation partners. Savalaja work on Indian business practice, Vajpayee research on Indian cultural psychology, and Kohom studies on Indian negotiation styles. Thank you for your attention.